DA from Two Daves and a Mic, along with Jakari Shale, Juice in the house, the Golden Lion podcast tonight. And it was all Shelby in the third round again tonight. The Golden Lions traveling up to Mount Airy, the number 2 seed in the 3A West, as Shelby continues its trek in the playoffs as a 10 seed out of the Southern Piedmont Conference. And Juice, Golden Lions getting it done again tonight. Big time offensive performance. I think the only possession that they did not score a touchdown was late in the fourth quarter when they had like a fourth and
Yeah, I think
I
it's like
don't
a
know.
turnover on downs.
Yeah, turnover on downs. It was like a 4th and 12, I think, after a couple of penalties. And it was maybe 3 minutes to go, and they were just trying to run the clock out, try to get another first down, keeping it on the ground. Outside of that, touchdown, 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 touchdown,
Yeah.
touchdown.
Exactly what you said about just the offensive performance. Just some stats for tonight. Shelby had 257 yards passing, rushing 101, total 367. Land Farmer played another great game. Again, he's picking it up as the season goes on, and that's what you need from a veteran leader like himself. And honestly, when he goes, the offense is going was 18 of 19, 257, 4 touchdowns. Jonas Woods, a freshman, another great game he had, and he continues just he continues to have a great game as well. Being a freshman in big time moments, not shying away. His ability to just after first contact and him just continue to put his head forward and get extra yards is an amazing trait to have, especially being so young. And he's going to continue to develop. And by the time he gets to his senior year, he's just going to be. I can't even tell you what player he'll turn into, but I mean, just him being a freshman and is out of this world. But I don't want to just give credit to the offense because the defense played great too. I mean, Mount Airy had a great running back. They got his truth. I think he's a Campbell commit. They had 208 rushing yards. The Martin kid had 26 carries for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Shelby defense only really held him to 14 points. The last touchdown came from the garbage time, but Shelby defense was trying his best to keep him down, and because he was the only guy that was really doing anything. Honestly, got all the carries and threw passes, punted, and I mean, overall, Shelby played good complimentary football. Special teams were better, so great win for Shelby.
Absolutely. A couple comments just based on your comments. First of all, uh, the thing that has come along with Land, I mean, the passing obviously has been there. Over 9,000 yards passing, leader in the county all time, only player to ever throw for over 9,000 yards in Cleveland County, and that includes a lot of good quarterbacks. But I mean, the dude is a stout individual. He's like 6'3", 6'4", 245 maybe. And I'm not saying he's fat by any means. He's a stout
Yeah,
individual.
yeah,
But for 2.5 years outside of the Crest game, the second game of the season this year, they have not let him run the football at all. And now instead of, and maybe this is because of the injury to Jalen Tate, and they're not
yeah.
as comfortable with Jonas in the power package, the big heavy package, whatever they're calling it now. They're just letting it land, just like the tush push without the pushing, just ram up in there at a 6'3", 245. I mean, he's like Cam Newton going through the line of scrimmage, and
I was thinking
that
the
is
same thing.
that's an element to this offense that we have not had. And I'm not saying we hadn't had good running backs, because we have had good running backs.
Yeah,
Our run from 2013 through 2021, where we won 7 out of 8 state championships, we had some good running backs. So I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we got a big old quarterback, and that joker has all of a sudden said, "Hey, I will put my head down and run over the top of you on 4th and goal or 2nd and goal or 4th and 1 or whatever the play calls for." And that is an element that you just gotta love when you're watching, what we're doing on offense right now.
I 100% agree, especially when Shelby gets inside the 5 or just like a 3rd and 2 or 4th and 1. It's just like a guaranteed gimme because Land is probably, I'm assuming he's like 225, and I don't want to I may be completely wrong. If I am, someone correct me, but I mean, it's so hard getting that guy on the ground. And I mean, you can hear his dad in the background whenever Land gets in that short yardage situation, and he says, I can hear his dad yelling like, "Hey, the guy's too little," and rightfully so. Every time Lane gets in there, he's dragging one guy or already ran someone over, and that's great to have as a quarterback because I know originally like he's kind of a pocket passer, not really known for using his legs, but I think really started that Lincoln game when the passing game really wasn't working, and Jalen Tate was doing it all on the ground by himself. But then Land kind of kicked in another element which kind of elevated his game and kind of helped his offense even more out because instead of him being a one-dimensional quarterback, it kind of allowed him to be a dual threat. Even though he's not getting like 80 yards a game, the times he does use his legs, he uses it at a great time that he's extending the drives or even helping them get the second and manageable or third and manageable to help this team get the first down. So, I mean, again, he's continuing to unlock his game. Again, he probably wants to continue playing ball after high school. I know he just got an offer, but he's continuing to develop, and he's going to be really good. I mean, he's 6'3". He has a rocket arm, man. I'm shocked other schools really haven't gave him opportunity or look to see what type of quarterback he can pan out to be with development. So
The Max Preps roster has him at 6'3", 230. And of course, we know that was in July when Coach put that roster together. So
yeah.
now I've been saying 245. Maybe that's I'm putting too much. Maybe I'm putting too much weight on him. And you said 225, so maybe you were taking too much off of him. I don't know. He's a big boy and
Yeah.
looks good. And I mean, honestly, big old strong kid. And I love that element to the game. The thing I was going to say about Jonas as the freshman is he continues to, show why, there's a lot of things to be excited about for the next 3 years with him as the running back primarily. And he is running with two hands on the ball. He is covering it up. He is not taking a chance of putting the ball on the ground. And I'll say that. And now next week against Eastern Randolph,
He'll
and
fumble the first play.
here I have buried the lead again. We won tonight, by the way, 41-21, as Juice already pointed out. And oh, by the way, for Mount Airy late to make it 41-21. Otherwise, it was 41-14. But Jonas is doing a great job carrying the football and protecting the football when he is carrying it. And, offensive line doing a great job giving him room to run and giving Land time to throw. I think it was the first pass of the game tonight. Land just sat back there and patted it and patted it and patted it and just waited for somebody to come open and then found somebody over the middle. It's wild that he was actually 18 of 19 because Dr. Martin rode up, Doc of the Pod, rode with me tonight up to Mount Airy. And we were trying to think on the way home if he had an incompletion. And he said, I think he had one in the second half. Otherwise, perfect night. I hate to see what that QBR is. It was got to be off the charts. But I'm going to tell you, even better than his 18 of 19 and 4 touches tonight were the catches that Lorenzo Roseboro and Emmanuel Collins made for him tonight, in particular, those two kids. But just in general, the receiving core was on point tonight and made just a handful of absolute spectacular catches.
And that's just a testament to the coaching staff and like Dobson, because I mean I played for Dobson for 4 years, and I know how he grills those receivers on, hey, make sure we look the ball in, make sure that even after practice, before practice, like we're catching tennis balls to get our hand and eye coordination right, and I think most importantly, just looking it in because as soon as you take your eye off the ball and looking up the field, that's when it drops. But I know we give it so much credit to the offense, the playmakers, but we gotta give a credit to the guys up front because I'm about to say Eastern Randolph. I was tripping. Mount Airy has a great pass rush, and they done good all night and all season. They had guys that's trying to bring pressure for land, but the offensive line done really great, and also the defense done really great too. So
Yeah, one of the things, obviously, about any quarterback when you see at any level of quarterbacking, um, when they get that first little bit of pressure, a lot of times you'll see the eyes drop down to the field, and instead of still scanning and looking for somebody to throw to, they're looking for maybe, can I get out of this jam? I think you saw that in the Thursday night NFL game last night. Josh Allen, he didn't have anybody for Buffalo open all night long. He ended up taking eight sacks on the game. Unbelievable kind of a defensive performance last night for Houston in that game. But I thought what landed well tonight, and he didn't have to do it often, but a couple of times he had to step up. He didn't lose sight of his receivers down the field and was still able to make plays down the field. And, I'm not saying that that is a new thing to his game. I'm just saying that there have been times earlier in the season in some of the tougher games where we didn't look as good as we have looked offensively the last couple of weeks, where he might have taken his eyes down. But tonight, last week against Steve Rutherford, surely, and then tonight as well, kept the eyes down the field looking for guys to break open, and he was able to get himself an extra couple of seconds in the pocket and then make that big completion. So big time game for the defense. Let's talk about for the offense. Let's talk about the defense though. Our linebackers tonight, Landon Hollifield, and Grady Nodine tonight, I think played extremely well. And our DBs, knowing that the Martin kid not only was a game breaker in terms of ability,
yeah.
but speed. He, unlike the Pinkerton kid last week, who didn't seem to have that breakaway speed, the Martin kid tonight certainly did have the breakaway speed. But our guys did a great job. I know you said 150 and 2, but we did a great job of containing him. They had to get first downs 3 yards at a time most of the night. And, when you take 7 minutes off the second half clock to score that first touchdown of the second half, to go from 28-7 to 28-14, we're looking at each other in the stands going, they don't have enough time left in this game to come back if they're going to take a 7-minute, drive where they go 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards down the field. They're just not going to do it. And of course, that's what it turned out to be. And so kudos to the linebacking group. Well, kudos to the whole group, but the linebackers and the DBs especially, making sure that Martin, even when he got through those times when he got through the line of scrimmage, that he didn't end up going, 75 on us.
I'm glad you made that point about them basically having 6 minutes off the clock and during the second half. And that's what you want a team to do, especially when a team is primarily run first and their weakness of their offense is throwing the ball. You want a team like that to play from behind. Like, I'm going to just say, for example, like a team like South Point, who primarily uses triple option, doesn't really throw a lot. It just throw the ball 1-2 times a game. If so, you want a team like that to play from behind, because also their weaknesses is the throwing game. If you take that away and you try to force them to play into their weaknesses, things not going to go well. And it's like, hey, if we can get this team to try to, again, a team that's supposed to control the clock, and they're supposed to come back and they're going to waste 6-7 minutes off the clock, hey, that's a win for us. And even though they scored on that drive, it's a win for the defense, because, hey, it go from 12 minutes now to 3 minutes. And then guess what? We either score or we give the ball back. Now they're going to have to waste another 7 minutes off the clock. And by the time you look at it, it's going to be 3 minutes left in the game, and we got an opportunity to try to run the clock out. So, it's always great to go up early on teams and try to make teams that's a run-first mentality to play from behind. So that's a great job on Shelby to recognize that, because when they got the score in the half, I was telling people on the sideline, I was like, it's over. Like, it's no way they come back and win.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about
like
the end.
70 yards and stuff.
Let's talk about the end of that first half, because we were up 14-7, and got the football late, like 2 minutes and maybe 40 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah.
And we had been up 14-0, and Mount Airy had gone on a long drive, and taken a lot of time off the clock and scored with like 2.5 minutes to go. We went down and scored a touchdown to go up 21-7 and kicked off to them. And I'm not sure what they were thinking, but the quarterback tried to take a deep shot, and we picked them off with 9 seconds to go. We had the ball at about midfield or
like
actually in
35,
our
something like that.
territory with 9 seconds remaining. He threw a big shot over the middle down to the 10, took a
Dang.
timeout with 2 seconds left. And I think everybody in the stands, including me and you, because we talked about it before we started recording, thought they should have kicked a field goal to go up 24-7 at halftime, and instead laying through the fade to the corner to Roseboro, and he made a tremendous catch. And we're up 28-7 at half, and like you said, ball game. It was over at that point.
Yeah. Dobson looked at me before the play because when they sit their offense back out, I'm looking at Donnie on the sideline like, hey, what? I'm not gonna lie. At that point, I'm like, what is Woodbanks doing? Like, just go up 3 scores and try to go up again, go up 3 scores. Because I feel like if they didn't score right there, Mount Airy's got the ball to start the half. I think that could have changed a lot in the game and how it's going to go. And I'm like, man, come on, Woodbanks, let's just kick the field goal. Then Dobson looked at me and just started like head tapping. And then then Lorenzo Roseboro was like right in front of me. Then I could say like I could tell like, hey, it's going to him. And that was a great ball and great catch. And then after that happened, I'm like, oh my goodness, like
Yeah.
I guess they knew something we didn't. I mean, because obviously you watch a lot of film, and I think their DBs was kind of a weakness because Shelby had their way with them in the pass game all night.
No doubt about that. So shout out to Matt Grenier handling the place kicking duties. I don't know what all happened in practice this week after the giving up the 2 touchdown returns last week to East Rutherford, but he was a directional kicker all night tonight. Pinned it on the
Two kicks
sideline,
and
just
everything.
absolutely pinpoint accuracy tonight for Matthew. I think he kicked the very first one out of bounds, and they let him re-kick instead of taking it right there, and he was money from that point on. The missed extra point at the end must have been a bad snap. It had started to rain, and I didn't see it, but Emmanuel came out of there and scampered around the right end, was trying to go in for a 2-point run, and he's the holder on the PATs,
Yeah.
and he got stopped short, but that was not a missed kick. It was just a missed attempt, I guess you'd call it, for Shelby. But that was the difference in that being a 42-21 score versus a 41-21 score. But anyway, Shelby, Simmons ratings had Shelby at a 3-point favorite tonight. They're a 3 touchdown favorite as it ends up. So we'll take that all night long. Other scores of interest, obviously the county games that were interesting tonight. Crest won big over East Lincoln. I was a
That
little
was a
surprised
shocker
by
to
that.
me.
A
Yeah.
little bit surprised about that score. They were up 24-0, I believe, at halftime. Ended up winning that one 31-14. Kings Mountain had to go to Northern Guilford tonight. Lost 37-7. Northern Guilford obviously pretty good. Kings Mountain kind of faltered down the stretch, even though they won the first 2 rounds of the tournament of the playoffs. So I'm not surprised necessarily about them going out. A little surprised by that score though, 37-7. And then Burns tonight and an absolute dogfight up at Brevard. Listen, Burns took a 20-17 lead in the fourth quarter, fell behind 23-20, went ahead 27-23, and then fell behind 30-27, and that was the final score in that one. But that's a lot of points in the fourth quarter, so not a lot of defense being played in Brevard tonight in the fourth quarter, but the Bulldogs come up short. So Shelby and Crest advance, Kings Mountain and Burns done for the season, and we'll see how the rest of that shakes out. On the Shelby side of things, it's Eastern Randolph next. They knocked off Walkertown tonight 30-14. So Shelby will travel to Eastern Randolph. You say, well, who's Eastern Randolph? Well, let me tell you who Eastern Randolph is. Shelby had a big game against Eastern Randolph in the baseball playoffs in 2001 on the way to the state championship in 2001. Golden Lions had to beat Eastern Randolph. I think it was a 1-0 game in extra innings. It was an incredible night. Big win for the Golden Lions. And then your boy, Coach Big Aub, won his first state title against Eastern Randolph in the no, that's not right. It was North. I think it was Eastern Randolph. I started to say that, and then I thought, no, that's not right. I think it was Eastern Randolph in the state championship in Chapel Hill
in 08?
when we won in 08 with Eric and Derek and Miles and Jay and that crowd. So, and I might have the team wrong on that, but that's Eastern Randolph. They're in the Ramseur, Ashboro area. So that's going to be another couple hour drive next Friday night for the Golden Lion faithful to make that trip up to Eastern Randolph.
10-2, 4-0 in conference.
Lincolnton upset the number 1 seed in the West tonight, Mountain Heritage. That was a 37-36 game. So Lincolnton has won 2 straight games by 1 point. And the 12 seed, Western.
The 12 seed won.
Yeah, the 12 seed.
Western Davidson or something like that.
Yeah, West Davidson. They're the 12 seed, and they won. So if they are to upset Lincolnton next Friday night and Shelby gets the job done against Eastern Randolph, the Golden Lions would host the Western Finals at Blount Memorial Stadium. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that possibility. Crest has South Point next week. South Point beat Monroe tonight, 61-42, Juice. Defense optional tonight in Belmont, but Crest beat the dog out of them when they played earlier in the season. It was like 46-0. So
are they going there, right?
It is at South Point because they're the number 1 seed. So
good luck playing there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so you got any takes for your college football Saturday tomorrow?
No takes. I think there really isn't any good games like that. I think the best game probably is going to be USC or Oregon, but I think I'm going to take Oregon in that one.
Yeah, I think I will too. So, all right, sounds good. Juice, any parting shots on that one tonight?
Eating what? Say it again.
Parting shots, the last comment before we hang it up?
No. Just hope Shelby take care of business, have a good week of practice, Thanksgiving practice. Take care of business next Friday.
All right, that's it. So for Juice, I'm DA. We'll see you next week. Peace.